Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Peak Performance Selling, The Art of Getting the Sale by Gary Petersen. Today you're listening in using your computer speaker system by default. If you'd prefer to join over the phone, select telephone in the audio pane and the dial-in information will be displayed. You'll have the opportunity to submit questions to Gary by typing them into the questions pane on the control panel, and they'll be answered at the end. To give a brief introduction on today's presenter, Gary is the founder of the Success Unlimited Group and has had over 15 years in promotional product sales, so he understands the challenges faced in the field by salespeople. He is a sales and goal-setting specialist who is totally focused on serious sales and personal development. Gary has extensive sales experience and has successfully taken underperforming sales teams and individuals and turned them into top performers. A winner of numerous prestigious sales awards, Gary is passionate about sales and is committed to working with salespeople, taking them to the top in their chosen profession. Gary has also trained as a life coach, learning skills and techniques which he utilises in his coaching. And I'll now hand over to Gary.
Thanks, Kate. Hi, everyone. You can hear me all right? Today we'll be covering prospecting, getting appointments over the phone, and closing. In other words, if you don't ask for the order, you will not get it. Today, I'll be sharing with you some closes that are used by top professional salespeople around the world in all industries. I have tried to adapt as many as I can to suit the promotional product industry. These are proven closing techniques. Please, one thing that I do not want you to do is when you hear them go, "Oh no, that's not me. I can't say something like that." Of course it's not you. You have to make it you by practicing, constantly practicing, practice some more until it becomes part of you. Salespeople around the world that are making massive incomes, these were all new to them as well, but they took them and practiced them until they became part of them. I throw down a challenge to those salespeople listening to take this material, practice it and use it. Also, to any sales managers listening, I want you to hold your sales staff accountable. At every sales meeting, give them a new close to learn, and the following meeting, have them close you. When we start off, I want to ask you a question. What do salespeople that don't prospect and dogs that chase parked cars have in common? The answer is neither will be around for long. You need to view prospecting the same way as you do taking a shower. You take a shower daily, or at least I hope that you do. You should be prospecting daily. Failing to prospect on a regular basis is putting yourself in a situation, what we call the peak and valley syndrome. Your sales go up and down. There's no constant flow of it. Sorry, I just lost. Now, sorry, prospecting today is easier than it has ever been. You have voicemail, email, phone, mail, social media, knocking on doors, referrals, networking. Clients have not purchased for a while, companies that have requested a quote but never gone ahead with it. Voicemail, I'm not a real fan of. I would rather talk to the prospect in person. I like to try 6 or 7 times to get a prospect. If I'm having trouble getting them, I try to vary the day, the time that I ring them. Email, some people prefer to send an email out to say that I'll be ringing them tomorrow between 3 and 4. One thing that I do like about sending out an email is that when you ring and the receptionist says, what is it about? You can say, please put me through, he's expecting my call. At least you can get around the gatekeeper that way. How many of you out there ask for referrals? There are 3 types of referrals. There's referrals from existing customers, from family and friends. Let everyone know what you do and ask them, do they know anyone that uses promotional products? Or the other one is from networking events. These are a great source of referrals at networking events. You're meeting like-minded people. The more networking you do, the more people that you talk to, the more chances that you've got of getting referrals. And like I said, the other one is clients that have not purchased for a while, or clients have requested a quote but never went ahead with the order. Hopefully your company keeps good records as to who has inquired and who has purchased in the past. This is a great source because at least you know that they purchase promotional products. You need to keep your funnel full of qualified prospects. Unfortunately, I know too many salespeople to what I call a wide funnel where everything goes into a qualified and unqualified. They go out and they're giving presentations to unqualified prospects. This, mind you, looks great on a call sheet at the end of the week if your sales manager is looking at it, but at the end of it, if they're unqualified, you're not going to get any orders, and then your sales manager will be saying, well, what's happening out there? So you need, I'm not saying drop your ones that you'll unqualified ones, but put them on a call list every 3 to 6 months. Because if you don't prospect, you're going to fall into a sales slump. 99% of sales slumps can be linked to a failure to prospect. Now, here's a couple of things. Oh, sorry, before I go on. A selling slump is a living hell. The salesperson confidence is shattered. Their self-talk becomes negative. They start having thoughts such as, if I don't start getting orders soon, I'll probably get the sack. If that happens, how am I going to pay the mortgage or feed the family? The bank will foreclose on our mortgage, we'll be thrown out on the street. How am I going to make the car payments? It'll probably get repossessed. Before they know it, life is no longer enjoyable. Going to work is no longer enjoyable, and their life is full of stress. They feel trapped. Fear prevents them from taking action. Now, if you're hesitant about picking the phone up and calling clients, prospects, just remember this: sticks and stones can break my bones, but no's will never hurt me. Also, you've got to remember that selling is a numbers game. You're not going to get every prospect. For some reason, you ring them up. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to your professional offer. So just remember, some will, some won't. So what next? Dale Carnegie said, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit in the office and think about it. Go out and start cold. Also ask the receptionist if they could tell you what promotional products the company has done in the past. There may even be some on the receptionist's desk. Then you ring up can you send me something in the mail? Now, golden rule is that you never send anything in the mail. They get it. You ring them up and say, did you get it in the mail? They go, yeah, I've got it. I'll get back to you when I've had a look at it. What you do, what you say is, could you drop it off? Could I drop it off to you personally sometime this week or sometime this afternoon or later this week? The other one for if you call in on the receptionist, once again, I apologise for dropping in like this, but I was wondering, does your company do any promotional products? If they say yes, then say, that is great. Could you please give me the name of the person that looks after the purchasing promotional products? Then you give the receptionist your business card and ask them to pass it on to the person and let them know that you'll be calling them between 3 and 4 tomorrow afternoon. When you ring them up, you go, my name's Gary Petersen, or your name from the company. Then you say, we've been able to help companies similar to yours grow their businesses by supplying quality and innovative promotional products. And I was just wondering, would it be possible to meet with you for around 10 minutes, show you what we've done for other companies, and then you can judge for yourself as to if you feel our services would be a benefit to your company. Once again, just ask for 10 minutes of the time. You can judge. I'm not going to sell you anything, just show you what we've done for other companies. If the prospect says, I'm not interested, here's your response. Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I understand exactly how you feel. Many of my best customers felt the same way when I first approached them. But after meeting with me, they found that they'd be better off by using our services, and they became my very best customers, and they recommend us to others. All I need is 10 minutes of your time. Now the response is, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I didn't think that you'd be interested. You see, many of our best customers were initially uninterested when I first approached them, but after they learned how they could benefit by using our services, they became my very best customer, and they recommend me to others. Same as before, but I didn't think that you'd be interested. All I need is 10 minutes of your time to show you what we have done for other companies, and then you can judge for yourself as to if you feel that using our services would benefit your company. Now, let's get to the closes. Closing the sale, or say, getting the commitment. Now, assuming that you have done the other important parts or important steps, you've established your credibility or trust, which is 40%, identified their needs through clearly asking good questions. You've done a great presentation based on your needs, then closing is only 10%. In selling, your credibility is everything. Your credibility or level of trust in the heart and mind of the prospect is a critical factor if they are going to deal with you. The best way to build credibility is preparation. There are many different ways to build credibility, but the best way is preparation. Before seeing the prospect, do some homework on them, find out a little bit about them. That way you come in prepared, you are most credible, and you're most credible. How do you find out about the business? You have Google or Yahoo, their website. If you can get a copy of their business and a financial year report. So when you walk in, it goes like this. Mr. and Mr. Prospect, thank you very much for your time. I had no idea you have 10 branches and 170 people working for you, and you've been in business since 1970, and you have had an annual growth of 5.5% per annum. That is amazing. How impressed do you think that the prospect will be that you've taken the time to find out about their company? You'll come across very professional. Why is closing so stressful? 2 reasons. The buyer is reluctant for the fear of making a mistake. It is 80% the reason the customers refuse to make a buying decision. The fear of rejection on the salesperson's part is 80% of the reason why salespeople do not ask for the order. 50% of all sales presentations end without the salesperson asking for the order. First of all, we're going to cover trial closes. You use a trial close to make sure that you're on the right track. And here are a few trial closes. In your opinion, do you feel that this product would suit your needs? How do you feel about what we've discussed so far? What do you think about the product I've shared with you? How does what we've talked about sound to you? Here's an example of using a trial close. Salesperson, how does what we discussed sound to you? Prospect, sounds really good. This is what we are looking for. Salesperson, great. What's the next step from your perspective? Prospect, I'd like to get things started. Salesperson, sounds good. All I need is your signature on the order form and we will get things going immediately. It's pretty easy, isn't it? We also have, sorry, we've just got a bit of a technical problem here, which I've just fixed. Sorry. Confirming questions. You ask confirming questions so that when it comes to the close, that they have not got something to stall on. Confirming questions. Do you have any questions or concerns that I haven't covered? Or does this make sense to you so far? Okay, let's look at a couple of closes, or actually a few. This one is called the alternative of choice close. You've done your presentation, the client's happy with it, and you just ask the question, would you like to go ahead with 500 units or 1,000 units? When they give you an amount, then you've got the sale. Now, this next one, I can guarantee you the date that you want, but we have to write it up today. Okay? Just say it's the start of the month. The prospect needs some stress shapes and they're locally printed. So plenty of time to turn them around. The prospect or client says, can I have them by the middle of next month? Now, the average salesperson would say, no worries, we can do it by then, and then keep talking. The professional says, I can guarantee you the date that you want, but we have to write it up today. Okay, that's just giving them a bit of a push along. Sometimes the prospect or client will say, oh no, I can't give you an answer today. Then you just say, that's okay. When do you think you'll have an answer? And then just turn around and say, tell them, that should be okay. I'll use up a few favors with them. Just make it sound like you're a bit of a hero. But I can guarantee you the date that you want, but we have to write it up today and use the word okay because it rhymes with today. Don't say, no worries, we can do that, and keep talking. Now, a couple of other closes. One is you've done your presentation. They're happy with what they've seen. Then you go, if this is what you're looking for, then why don't we go ahead with it? It's just inviting them to go ahead with it. Not high pressure, just why don't we go ahead with it? The other one is, if you're happy with it, why don't you go ahead and place your order today? Sorry, I left a U out of there. You know how many times I read that? Now, this is I've used this heaps of times before. It's an oldie but a goodie. The cold hard fact is that if you believe that your prospect will be better off using your company, then ask them this question. Don't beat around the bush. You want their business. I'd love to have you as a client. Tell me, what do I have to do to get your business? If they tell you, you've got the order in the account. If they say no, then you know that you're wasting your time with them. Go on to another prospect that's qualified. The directive close. This close is used by the top professionals around the world. It is one of the most powerful closing techniques, and it's used in every industry. Its major virtue is that it allows you to keep control of the sale and wrap it up and go at your own pace and speed. It's also very simple. Here's how it goes. At the end of the sale conversation, you ask a trial closing question like, how does that sound to you so far? If the prospect agrees that it sounds pretty good, you then say, well, Mr. Prospect, the next step is. You then go on to describe a plan of action of what happens from this point forward. This slide that's up on the screen now is an example of the Directive Close that I used to obtain an order for 500 polo shirts and an additional order for another couple of hundred later on. Met with the client wanted a blue polo shirt, came back with a blue polo shirt. I told them, are you happy with the polo shirt that I showed you? Later said, yep. I said, great. So the next step is I'll get the film and screen done. Now, what quantity are you going with? Is it 500 shirts? All I need from you is to authorize the quote. And if you can send me the sizes that are needed, or would you like me to work out that for you? Then I'll order the stock and get them to the screen printers. We'll send you artwork approval for your authorization. Once we receive that, the signed approval, the job will be scheduled for production. Okay? Now, I don't know about you, but on my quotes, I always have for them to sign on the spot. Just authorize this and we'll get started. Easy way to go. You just in total control then. The other one is very similar. It's called the authorization close. As before, you have a part there for them to sign, and you just say, turn around to them and go, if you'll just authorize this, we'll proceed with the order. And please make sure that you've got a pen on you, because if you haven't got a pen or the client hasn't got a pen, this close falls flat on its face. Now, let me think it over. This is what you say. That's a very good idea. This is an important decision. Obviously, you have a good reason for wanting to think it over. Just asking the question. Obviously, you have a good reason for wanting to think it over. May I ask what it is? Is it the price? Sometimes it's not the price. Sometimes it might be something else. But when they tell you, we'll go back to, if they say yes, it is the price, then you say, if price wasn't an issue, then do you see any reason for not going ahead today and not going ahead and placing the order today? That way you eliminate the objection. If price wasn't an issue, then do you see any reason for not going ahead today? They can't turn around later and go, oh yeah, I'm not placing the order because of this, because you've asked them that question. And then you say, placing the order. And then you say, let's write it up today. Okay. Now, I'm almost finished. I'll talk quickly because we had so much to cover. And I wanted to make sure you've got it all. You'll get a copy of this tomorrow. It'll be available. I'd advise you to look at it again and jot down all the different clauses and the objections and how to get the appointments on the phone. So before I disappear, do you know what the most important word in sales is? It's ask. Ask the prospect, the customer, to make a buying decision. Ask the prospect, the customer, if he can proceed to the next stage of the sale. At the very least, ask, what would you like to do now? And just summing up, at the end of every sale, you must be able to step in and ask the prospect to make a decision. You cannot sit there hoping that the prospect will buy. Here's some information if you want to get in contact with me, if you want to know how we can help you as a salesperson grow, or how we can help your sales team reach their full potential. If a Victorian company would like me to come out and talk at one of their sales meetings, please contact me. More than happy to do that, no charge. And I'm happy to go interstate, but airfares must be provided, and a taxi provided from the airport to the office and back to the airport again. And one other thing I must include here is that when I did my last webinar, we have on our website to get if you click on it, you'll receive a copy of a white paper of getting rid of the fear of cold calling forever. A few people requested it. They didn't get it because at the time we were going to update it. It's been put on the back burner because we've been so busy, so that will be reviewed and updated in the next couple of weeks, and anyone that requested it, it will be sent out to them. Well, gang, the rest's up to you. You've got choices. You can either take what I've said today and run with it, or you can turn around and say that was very nice, I spent some time, and life goes on just the way it is. Kate, I'm going to hand it back to you now.
Excellent, thanks Gary. There don't seem to be any questions, so if anyone does, feel free to contact Gary. His details are on the screen. And like Gary mentioned, tomorrow you'll receive a follow-up email with a link to view the recording of today's webinar and also a link to view Gary's slides. So on behalf of Gary and APPA, thank you for joining us today and have a great afternoon.